We are rolling. What's up, friends? I got another light review for you today, and as I said in my TL60 tube light review, I don't cover a lot of lights because I usually find them kind of boring, but these new lights are exciting because this is not only a 150 watt Bi Colour COB light, it also has full RGB, which I feel like is one of the first COB RGB lights like this to come out at this price point. And I found it super handy. I've used it on a bunch of shoots now, and it's amazing not needing to put gels on your light. So this light comes in a really nice padded case with a power brick, Velcro for the power brick, Bowens mount reflector dish, safety cable, and that's pretty much it in the case. It doesn't come with a lot of things. I've seen some other kits that come with a remote, but this one that I got didn't come with a remote. And the power brick connects up with kind of like a standard XLR adapter. This is a 4-pin. But the one thing is the power brick doesn't have like a built-in controller or a V-mount plate like most pro lights have. So you can't power this light off V-mount batteries. But in doing so, that makes the power brick pretty small. This is all that's hanging off the back of the light. And then all the smart stuff and controls are actually in the head unit of the light in the back. I'm really impressed with Godox. They're making some really great quality stuff right now. And in terms of build quality, this thing is metal with some plastics, but mostly just metal. And the light is rated for 97 CRI, which is amazing. That's pretty high for a light like this. The knob on the side here is for tightening the yoke. So when you're going to the front here, you can't go all the way down, but if you take the power out, you can actually switch it all the way around almost 360 degrees. And it just feels really nice quality here. There's no weird stuff going on. It locks in nice and tight. Everything feels top notch except for this bottom spigot attachment mount here. It feels kind of cheap, I don't know why. But you can also mount it this way as well, so you can mount it horizontally or vertically. And yeah, that's the only thing I've noticed that kind of feels kind of cheap on this light. So the back of the light here is where the LCD control is, and this is basically where you control everything. It's super intuitive. There's 2 knobs on either side and then 4 buttons on the bottom. They're labeled, they're self-explanatory, and just like the TL60 tube lights, you have CCT, so your white light, HSI for your RGB, and then you have effects, and then your menu to make some of your changes. And in HSI through RGB, you have the ability to cycle through all your different colors. And while you're in there, you'll be able to adjust the colors and saturation and brightness. When you click this down, you can adjust the saturation so you can dial it back so it's not as strong. So just to quickly run through some of the features, when you're in CCT, the function knob will change the color temp of the light from 6500 Kelvin to 2800 Kelvin. Pushing in the knob will switch the tint of the light, which allows you to adjust the tint either more green or more magenta. And the dim knob on the right will adjust the intensity of the light from 0% to 100%. And when you're in HSI mode, the function knob will let you cycle through all the RGB colors. There's a lot of different options here. And then if you move over to the dim knob, that will also control the intensity of the light. And if you go back to the function knob, you can actually adjust the saturation of the light as well. And the effects button is pretty self-explanatory. It opens up the menu with all the different effects the light has built in. It has stuff like camera flash, candle, fire, police, and other things like that. So you might have wondered what the knob on the side is here, and this is the zoom knob they're calling it. It lets you adjust the beam angle from 20 degrees to 60 degrees, giving you more of a softer, wider spread of light versus like a harder, tighter beam. And I've seen this on Airy Fresnel lights, but I've never actually seen this on an LED light. And this really only works if you have like the reflector dish on it. You're not going to want to have any type of modifier on it because you're not going to be able to actually see the beam of light. So as I said, this is a 150 watt COB light, which is awesome. And from what I can tell, it's comparable to the 120D Mark II for power output, like the light power. But the big difference is that this is a bi-color light and has a range of 2800 to 6500 Kelvin. You can also adjust the tint of that light as well, which is super nice to have. So you have way more control over like the skin tones or matching other daylight balanced lights on set. And I love that when you're making these adjustments, they're so minimal. They're not like a massive drastic change. And when you're in HSI mode and you're using RGB light, you have a ton of different color options. And when I say a ton, I'm talking like 36,000 different options. And this makes it super convenient compared to other lights where you'd have to put a gel into them to change the color. And with this light, you don't have to do that. You can literally dial in any color you want. And I think moving forward, you're gonna see a lot more lights with RGB because it's just so handy to get any look you want without having to climb up a ladder and change the gel in the light. And you know, the RGB isn't quite as bright as the CCT in this light. I'd say it's more like 60 to 70 watts, and you're gonna notice a major power loss compared to just the regular CCT mode. So that might be kind of a deal breaker for some people. I know it was kind of disappointing for me. And the first time I noticed this, I was on set and I had the light cranked to 100% when I was in RGB. And I was like, why do I need this much power? I shouldn't need this much power. And I realized later that, you know, this mode isn't as bright as CCT. So that's just something to note, something you need to keep in mind when you buy this light. So the nice thing about this light is it does have silent mode, which I'm in right now, and that turns the fan off. And because the fan doesn't make a little noise when you're in a quiet room like this recording a voiceover, you will hear it. And let's take a listen to that right now. So to access silent mode, go to the menu and over to the fan icon. When it's set to off, that means the fan's off and it's in silent mode. When you're in silent mode, the light's going to be limited to a power output about 35% in CCT, and you'll notice that when you try and turn it up higher that the fan icon's going to blink, and that means you've hit the limit. And this is also the same for HSI mode. You're going to be limited to about 75% power, but that equals to about 50 watts of power on each mode. Now I already covered how to control the menus from the back of the light here, but you can also control everything from your phone using the Godox Light app. It's super easy once you connect it up. You can control basically any color you want off your phone or change any settings. And you can also control multiple lights off the app as well. So let me show you how to pair this up to your phone via Bluetooth, and I'll show you some other functions as well. If you do end up getting a controller, you can pair it super easy by setting the channel and ID that matches the controller, and it'll just automatically work. But to pair the light with your phone, you need to make sure you download the Godox Light app. Once it's launched, you need to go to Add Studio and then name the studio, and then go click Add down at the bottom left, and then once you're there, you can go Add at the top right. And as long as you have Bluetooth turned on your phone, the light should already show up for you. So all you have to do is click on Add. Once added, you can now control it. You can turn it on and off, or you can make any light adjustments. On the main scene control selection, you have a lot of different options, including gels that you actually don't get from accessing the back of the light. And you can also make more adjustments to the CCT color temperature and intensity. And of course, you also have all the effects options as well, with the ability to adjust the frequency or speed of that effect. And this is something I think is really big about this new Godox light system, is that if you stay in this ecosystem and you add more lights, you can actually control them all off the app, making it super easy to make changes and control an entire light setup just from your phone. That's basically it. That covers pretty much everything on this light. I'm super stoked with all the new stuff that Godox is coming out with, and this light is super handy. It's going to be super handy to have in your kit along with other lights like the TL60 tube lights. There are a few cons with this light though, and the first is the fan noise. I have it turned off right now because if I'm in a small room like this and it's powered up, you're going to hear it in your audio, especially if you have the brightness cranked up. So that's something to keep in mind, but I assume that's kind of why they've added this silent mode. As I showed, it does take a hit in the power output when it's in this mode, which might be fine for talking head stuff like this where you don't need a ton of power. But yeah, you're only gonna get like half or like 3/4 of the power that you would typically get when you're running the fan. And the last thing is I wish that the RGB was also 150 watts. I'm pretty sure most of you would probably wish the same thing. It needs to be as bright as a CCT. Like if they're gonna say this is a 150 watt light, but only part of it's 150 watts, is it kind of deceiving or is it actually truthful? Because I guess it is a 150 watt light, but yeah, 150 watts in CCT, white light, only around 60 to 65 watts in RGB. Other than that, I have no complaints overall. I think that the package is amazing, what it comes with, the case that it comes in, the build quality is great, the light quality is amazing, and that's mainly what matters most. And the ability to have all the RGB color options makes this thing super versatile, and you can use it for a ton of different applications, and it saves so much time to not need to put a gel on it. And yeah, you can have any color you want, so you don't have to worry about any kind of gels. And I also forgot to tell you that it has a regular Bowens mount, so you can put different modifiers. It does come with this dish, but you can put things on like a light dome and other things like that. So you can have a ton of different modifiers on this as well. That's it. Thanks to Godox for sending this light out to me to check out and review for you guys. I do have a bunch of different plans for this light, some other shoots coming up that I want to use this in the future. If you think about picking up this light, I'll put a link in the description. It's actually pretty well priced. It's only $560 US at B&H, and I've seen some other kits on Amazon that are a little bit more that come with the remote. But yeah, that's it for me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, give it a thumbs down twice. Don't forget to hit that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next one.